And we're in this series where we're taking a look at Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. And last week, we tackled some challenging topics of anger and lust that are included in this sermon that is found in Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. And today, honestly, we're not letting up because we're going to talk about two more topics that are equally as challenging, I think. It's revenge and hatred. Now, I would say if you've had to interact with people very much, you've become aware about one of the difficulties that we can have in sometimes being able to clearly communicate what we want to with others. In fact, I often have said, as a pastor and I interact with different people, one of the challenges with communication is the illusion that it's happened. And if you're a parent here, can you say amen? Because you thought you said to your kid something and they didn't really get it. And of course, there's a lot of factors that go along with that communication piece. It could maybe be the tone of voice, or maybe the words that are used. It could even be the attentiveness of the listener. I would say even punctuation can make a difference. And my favorite example probably would be that last factor. I came across this meme a while back. My 3 favorite things are eating, my family, and not using commas. Because if you don't put a comma in the right place there, that's uncomfortable, isn't it? Well, apparently, there's a communication challenge that also includes understanding God's truth. Jesus, I think, makes that very clear as he repeats several times in chapter 5. He would say, "You have heard that it was said." You've heard that it was said. And what he was addressing were really the commands and the teachings that God had given his people in the law. They were instructions for how we were supposed to be getting along with others. But apparently, over time, sadly, what God had intended to communicate had become misconstrued and miscommunicated and misunderstood. And so Jesus was taking this opportunity to provide just a little bit more clarity. And so he makes the statement 6 times, "You've heard that it was said, but I tell you." And then he would go on. And anytime Jesus taught, his lessons came across so differently from every other teacher. And I think people were amazed by Jesus' teaching because he advocated principle-based living rather than law-based living, which, if you think about it, it makes a lot more sense. Because law-based living really tends to cause people to try to live as close to the line as possible without crossing it, while principle-based living reorients your whole life around actually what's optimal, what's best for you and for others as well. Well, in his teaching in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus really, I think, wanted to give some significant clarity to God's original intention by deciphering for us what God truly intended for us to know and to understand and then to do. And there were 6 times that he makes this statement. We already looked at the first 2 last week. And these principles really were this. Hey, I will not allow anger to control my interactions with others. That would be a great principle to live by.